sounds of the children that night before at 3 a.m. The truth soon emerges. The asylum has no children, and the children's wing has remained closed since the war. Father Thomas' skepticism led him to believe that the cunning fraudster, trickster is orchestrating these supernatural phenomenon. On the second night, Father John is awakened by sounds of children playing on the stairs right outside of his room. He opens up the door and he looks down the stairs and he sees a child playing on a chair. He says, "Hello," but the child doesn't hear him. He runs down the stairs to where the child was, but the child has disappeared. He looks down and there was the toy that the child was playing with. And all of a sudden he hears from behind him a little girl say, "They're gonna kill you." And then he runs back upstairs, and the next morning he's telling Father Thomas that I can't sleep. I'm so afraid. Every time I close my eyes, I'm gonna see that little girl, Father. Thomas doesn't believe what he saw either. There is children here, somewhere in the asylum. Or I am seeing the trickster. What? And then all of a sudden you hear children playing and a thud on the door. Laughter comes from the other side. He slowly opens the door and no one is there. And all of a sudden he's hearing footsteps running behind him. Laughter right in his ear. He slams the door. He looks under the bed and he sees the toy the child was playing with. And all of a sudden he hears "Father" in his ear, and he turns around and the door is open. And now knocking comes from the window. He slowly walks over to it, and two bloody handprints appear on the curtain. And all of a sudden a ghostly woman jumps towards him, and it disappears as it goes right through him, and the door slams. He opens it up and he goes to Father Thomas's room. He's scared as hell as the ghostly child walks behind him. Thomas says, "Have you been drinking? Have you gotten into the wine?" "No." "Were you dreaming?" "No." And now on the third day, the cascade of events shatter Father Thomas's doubts. All the statues of the Virgin Mary in the asylum begin bleeding simultaneously. Father Thomas examines the blood and determines it to be human, specifically O negative, originating from a pregnant woman. Yet comparing the samples with the blood of all the inmates and nuns yielding no matches, Mary conceived without sin. Please pray for us. We will test the girls, Reverend Mother. She wouldn't deal with them. Only virgins in this home are the statues. And surely the sisters, Reverend Mother. I do not appreciate your insinuations, Father. Every last woman of childbearing age in this hole must be tested, nuns included. A nun now secretly confesses to being the person who reached out to the church regarding the weeping statues. She warned Father Thomas about a young Reverend Mother says, "No, I am not going to have you trampling around, disturbing sick women at this hour. You're either going to take us down to see Kathleen O'Brien, or we are going to break down the door ourselves. You'll regret that sharp and quick if you're not prepared for this, Father Riley. But if you want to see it, I will show you the lower infirmity. This is where you ask. It is where we keep the women who are mad, and some of them are dangerous. So watch yourself. Prepare yourself, Father," as she opens up the door to where Kathleen is chained to the wall. Scratches all up and down her body. Father Riley walks over to her. "Good God, what is this?" She's in danger to herself and others. She's no more than a child. She's hardly a child anymore. She's laid with a man. Father now says, "You're pregnant, child? Were you crying, child?" And then she points to the wall and she says, "They're lonely. They have no mothers, Father." And then he looks over at the wall and nothing is there. "I want her cleaned up and given medical attention. For God's sake, give this girl some proper food. Remove these chains now. I am not going to ask again, Reverend Mother. Unlock her, sister." And she gives the key over to a nun. She says, "Reverend Mother, no. Now, sister." As they unchain her and slowly take her out of the room, her eyes roll in the back of her head and then back forward again. Then she turns around and attacks one of the nuns. She starts biting her in her neck. "Put her back inside. Put her back inside now. You see why we have her locked up in there?" Father says, "I want someone to come down here. We got to get this girl cleaned up, Reverend Mother." Now Father says, "Can you tell me your name, child?" "It's Kathleen O'Reilly." "I'm Father Riley. Do you know why you are chained up?" "The girl is dangerous. You'll see that for yourself," Reverend Mother says. Kathleen says, "No, that wasn't me.